morals, this boy.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the King Zone DragonX of translators.
Yeah, and he just said that that is definitely true in my ear as well. Here we are in Champion Select for game number 2. He didn't, everyone. He actually said that's not true, but it just felt like using my power. So, are we going to get any changes in the bans is the question. Scion going to be the first one from Jin Air, so no is the answer to that question so far.
But do they ban away the AP Scion and take away the Galio? Because that was certainly a handful in game number 1.
Well, here's the change. Olaf is going to be removed first here by Kingzone. They don't want to give that over to Umpty because Olaf, after a buff, aggressive jungler.
Umpty's undefeated on the Galio, on the Olaf as well. It's been a big pick for him in the jungle, so I think it's a good respect ban against the side of Umpty.
I mean, when you've got a champion with the move called Reckless Swing, it kind of fits Umpty's playstyle. The Sejuani is going to be taken away as well, so the jungle pool getting pinched just a little bit here. The Sedge was the only jungle ban last time out.
Every time a jungler is banned, the chances of the Nocturne get higher.
And the chances of the Volibear get higher.
And the chances of the Skarner get higher.
Oh, I know. And the chances of the Zac get higher as well.
Well, we're hoping for some more fun. We had the Jhin already for the first time in the LCK in game number 1. If you're joining us late, still patch 8.5 with Kai'Sa enabled. So Kai'Sa on 8.6, going to be seen a lot. Kai'Sa on 8.5, probably going to be a little bit less cited, and we will not be seeing the AP Scion as Galio and fake Galio are both banned.
Yep. Galio and fake Galio. Scion and fake Scion also banned.
That's true.
Yeah. Just to be as redundant as possible. Final ban is going to be Rakan, as Jin Air not going to have access to that. Wraith did prove himself quite annoying as he was darting around the jungle, being able to get vision there when they were fighting over Baron control. Umpty considering the Skarner once again, and he's going to lock it away. Kingzone didn't seem too flustered by it last time out. Now they've got 2 big picks to lock away. The Swain escaped the clutches of pick and ban.
I think it's going to be a mid lane Swain, though, because it's another fake Scion, fake Galio. Zone control. Doesn't have a global, sadly.
Yep.
Well, we're just going to see the Swain locked in here from Kingzone. Very strong on this patch. Lots of buffs. Good lane control in top and mid lane. With all the pushing, we will see a Swain. Will it be Khan or BDD? Confer later in the draft and find out.
Yep. Not entirely sure just yet. And everyone in the crowd did the same thing. I felt a little bit less bad for doing my because it's just a hover. Peanut likes hovering a whole bunch of things. 10 seconds to go. See what they are going to lock in. You can see BDD is questioning a few things, but the Braum is certainly an easy option if they want to go for it.
There's still excitement potentially for later in the draft, especially if they hold on to the jungler to the second round, as it's going to be 10-0 attempted for Gorilla on the Braum. He is 9-0 on the season on Braum.
Yep. Another big pick for Teddy being hovered here. We'll see whether he actually decides to pick that one up. We saw Ruler didn't have a great time on his first time out on the champion.
First time in 2018, but yes, did struggle on the pick, and Caitlyn priority higher recently, with Kalista being put onto the bench next to Zoe.
Yeah.
So we'll just be Caitlyn trying to find some power for the laning phase. You see Caitlyn, and you think Ashe, and Ashe could certainly be opted into here by Kingzone.
Yep, another opportunity. So they can have the Fjordian bot lane as well, so it fits the lore at the same time. Grace thinking about going back to an old favorite in the Azir. Played it a bunch of times so far. Plenty of options into it, though, that BDD could capitalize on if he feels like it.
You would expect a jungle pick here to profit on the flex of the Swain. Could still be just a mid lane and saying, hey, it's top lane Swain, deal with it. Wait and see what the decision is here from
carry
Kingzone.
as well.
Yep,
Certainly
could just
a big
be
option.
the Ashe or the Jhin at this pick. Wait and see what the decision is from Kingzone. No one wants to reveal their picks. Everyone's trying to counterpick everyone.
Yeah. Well, it's the Zac being considered. And it's like our prophecy that we had comes true.
No Nocturne in this game, sadly. I do accost people, as you know, and ask for Nocturne all the time. No Nocturne is coming.
My favorite was when you accosted people to call for the Volibear, because it feels the most wrong.
Well, no Volibear in the LCK.
And no Thresh for Wraith as well.
The smart ban, of course.
Yeah, Thresh Skarner, always a good combo.
You take it on the red side as final pick. You can start banning things strong against it, and we talk about that in terms of mid lane picks. Same in terms of jungle picks, as you can ban away the Thresh, whose Flay should have won MVP for Key in Game 2 of our first series of the night, but did not.
Yep. We're still a bit salty about that,
we are.
Actually, because Key was just so much better. But anyway, we digress. This is still this series, and Gangplank is going to be banned away from Khan. but Khan may just be playing the Swain, so it's hard. That's the reason why the ban timer went all the way down the bottom, is there's just too many things that you want to get rid of. Alistair going to be the final option here.
You see another engaged support banned away, and you wonder if Prey would visit the Jinx this game. That'd be really fun to see.
Yeah, and Jinx also synergizes really well with the Braum.
Of course, Kog'Maw is usually his hyper carry of choice, but we would invite some Prey Jinx.
Yeah.
Well, Wraith getting something out of his eye. They're going to ban the Kog'Maw. So
that's going to help us. That's going to help us.
The very standard Kog'Maw draft in a comp like this from Kingzone. Probably going to be the AD carry here, and the Ashe is the one we mentioned earlier. We do see it. Very good laning phase into the Caitlyn because of the range. And a lot of different runes you can take. Now that we see Footwork, maybe we see the Comet Ashe come into this game to have a bit more poke onto the Caitlyn. So it's our original idea, and having an extra initiator in Prey's world-famous Ashe. I would go so far as to say the best Ashe player in the history of competitive League of Legends. So super pumped to see that.
Absolutely. Has played it already once before, so feeling like he's ready, feeling like he's warmed up. The Tahm Kench is going to be the option. Pretty good when you've got enchanted crystal arrows flying at your carries.
Well, we're going to have a blind pick top laner and then wait to see where Swain is going. Once Jin are going to decide on. There's a lot of safe things open, like the Gnar, for example.
Ornn also still available. Someone wants to go back to it.
That's not hard random, guys.
Yeah, nah. That is going to be picked up. Sorry, I just had an Australianism by accident.
You did?
Yeah, nah.
It's a joke we made many times. Is, well, Jace is up, and they're going to pick Jason to Gnar, and that's going to be really painful.
That's going to be awful. Yeah, someone's like, oh, that's why I didn't want to pick Gnar. Oh.
That would definitely make a lot of sense. And it's going to be another famous pick. It's Khan's Jace. Well, have a lovely time, Kingzone. There's a lot of power going on this draft, and BDD did find the third Scion.
He did. Well, I mean, I like to call him either the third Scion or the second Vladimir. You know, it's one of those.
BDD only plays tanky zone control champions. It turns out that Orianna, a thing of the past. He just wants to control space. Now he's got two AD carries, the Jace and the Ashe behind him. Oh boy, well, let's hope Umti has a better game on the Scar and a much better jungle matchup. Doesn't have an Olaf to deal with. We see some more of these famous picks. Looking to go 10-0 on the Braum, 6-0 on the Jace. And only the second game of Ashe, but every time Prey locks it in, you wait to see another one of those sniper arrows. This is the problem with Kingzone, is you feel so good. Got rid of those pesky Galio and Scion. And then unfortunately, there's all the other picks that you have to deal with.
Yeah, all the other incredible power picks. We saw Jace banned in almost every single game throughout the start of the season, but since then there's just been too many really good things that you can pick in League of Legends. Sometimes it just slips through. Sometimes he says, I don't really need to play it this time around, but this time we are going to get treated to the Khan Jace. Bottom lane also just going to be a brilliant one. Got Gorilla on his comfort pick as well as Prey on his Ashe. Needs no introduction whatsoever. Certainly answers available here to Jin this time around. Let's bounce there for the Zac in response to the Skarner, but otherwise, man, it's looking difficult for Jin. We'll see what happens. They could turn it around here as we enter game number 2. Alright, Jin fans actually starting to feel it. Here is Kingzone grouping up to try and make sure they gather some control of these Crystal Spires.
It's the 72nd game that Prey has played on Ashe. If he wins, he will have a career 75% win rate. Be 54-18.
For those playing at home, that's 3/4 of the games that he's played on Ashe, he's won.
And look at that, some Peanut fans, some Prey fans. Kingzone DragonX always bring the people. So many favorites there. And they took the championship winning team and made it better by bringing in Peanut. And when Kaz has played, he's looked good too. So they have a great backup
and also
him as well.
What they've done to how Peanut plays as well, because when he was on SKT, it looked like he was floundering sometimes, making mistakes. But we're back to Rox Tigers Peanut here, who's just a dominant force.
Well, we're back to Peanut, like we mentioned in the game 1, being someone who is the primary shot caller in the early game at minimum. It's still a big voice as the game goes on. This time he's going to be on the Zac, so it's probably going to be a bit more of a defensive side to the shot calling, less invading on it, as Khan has only ever lost one time on the Jace in the LCK.
That's really dumb. He did just miss a Shock Blast, so Sowan's actually able to win this trade. He likes to hit those generally, and then can't ever enter the lane again. Doesn't happen this time around, as you mentioned. I mean, I feel like if he wins another one, you're exactly right.
75%. It's the LCK total. I was talking about his career total. Played it at Worlds, of course, very famously. Many, many times.
Still done pretty good domestically on it as well, as you can see.
And it's just one of those things where it's very hard to think of a top Ashe player that wasn't around in Season 1. It feels like that champion that defined the game for many players when those 40 champions.
Yeah.
Those are the guys who hit the Ashe arrows, and line skill shots been the big thing for Bray, who's been a pro for a very, very long time, since Season 2.
That was when the AD carriers were in the mid lane, and you'd take teleport. You teleport behind people after shooting an arrow right up the mid lane from base. The dream.
Good old times. For the Ashe, who still is very viable into the Caitlyn, and when we saw a Caitlyn meta, we had to know this was coming.
Yeah.
Mid lane for this particular Swain, very much about pushing. This patch makes his cooldown on his Q 5.5 at level 1, and still scales down to 2.5 seconds, so has insane pushing ability. Will get poked down pretty heavily by Grace, so we'll see what build BDD goes into. Could be the Abyssal Mask, but we know a Catalyst is coming.
Yeah. At least a Catalyst to start things off. I know, Tyr is another option. He might go for that one, but not going to give him as many defensive choices, and like you say, it can be pretty rough. So I'm going to check out some Game 1 stats. As Grace just taking way too much damage here from BDD.
He got the passive a second time, and the pull-in got him another Q for Harass here. Nicely done by BDD.
Yeah, never moves are actually landing, and if you can land that W as well, which is so difficult to pick up, can be rough. As nice sidestep. That could have almost spelt the end for Grace.
Again, deletion damage you don't really respect from a Swain. If Swain solo kills you in mid lane, that's almost unthinkable of, because he only just kind of pokes a lot of damage many times rather than doing real burst rotations. Speaking of burst rotations.
Yep, Peanut is going to make his way underneath the turret here as he has the passive. He wants to try and pick up the aggro if he can. He just bonks him into the turret as Khan will be able to pick up First Blood. And the Bloblets are out of range of the turret. Should be all too easy. First Blood goes to Khan. Oh, gosh.
Tented an Infernal coming through for the side of King Zone. Another reason why Caitlyn comes in, Ashe comes in against Caitlyn is going to be the ability to use the Hawkshot Atlas. Because remember, Tracker's Knife is gone. So you think back to all the way back in the day, before we had wards everywhere, before everyone had access to the Trinket wards, and we had the Clairvoyant Summoner spell, which let people keep track of junglers. It's on a very short cooldown back in Season 1. The Ashe Hawkshot with the longer respawn timings on the camps is just as useful at tracking, and it's in a meta where you don't have Tracker's Knife to do it anyway. So when you lane well into Caitlyn with your long range, with the volley getting onto a short enough cooldown to have some lane control, or at least answer some pushing, and you have all-in options and Clairvoyance, that's a lot of ands that lets you know that Ashe is a very viable choice when the matchup allows it.
Yeah, when you've got less vision available to you. I do like it. So did make his way back up to this lane, but if you have a look at the items, that's 3 swords. And Sowan has a shield and a rock, which I don't think you need to be a rocket scientist to figure out that that is not so good for the Gnar player.
Now, he is prehistoric, so he's trying to build into
his
his lore. When you get Jace counterpicked as Gnar, you might as well do some lore bending.
Yeah, precisely.
But Umti's here.
Yeah, can...
Flash still up onto Khan, though.
Boulder does actually land here, as someone's going to get bonked back. Doesn't have level 6.
He doesn't want to use his flash. But he's also got teleport coming in.
Exactly, and Peanut is here as well. As there's
Interrupted.
Emperor's Divide in the mid lane. Sowan getting very, very low now as the Hyper Proc will do some damage. And the Flash from Umti should be able to secure this kill. Flash finally does come in, but he misses the Fracture. The Acceleration Gate is there as well. Meanwhile, at top side,
he's going for the
Sowan should be taken down. Blast Cone will be utilized, and that is the great escape from Khan that we know him for.
Flash.
Sowan actually performing some top lane antics of his own.
Got him!
He picks up the kill now. Khan trying to get in there and do it. Misses another Shock Blast. BDD has demonically ascended on the bottom side. He's now looking for Umti and gets it. off the back end. There's just excitement everywhere on both sides of the rift.
That was sick by Sohan in particular, staying alive and kiting forever, and then same story for the Jace, the top laners, the true MVPs, and BDD gets a kill on the Swain.
Somehow. Oh, there was a fight on so many fronts. Props to the observers, guys, because the fact that we managed to see all of that is a huge deal. Now BDD actually struggling here. Thank goodness for the Azir nerf. The damage of the Conquering Sands.
Doesn't take a rocket scientist, which you've already said this. I'll steal that particular expression.
Oh, you can have that
to
one.
Remind you that Azir does heavily outrange the Swain, whether it's pre-rework or post-rework. They're looking for a gank anyway.
Yep, he's going to flash immediately, but he gets bonked. Not going to quite find it as the pullback lands perfectly. BDD grabs it. Never move. A pretty good follow-up when you know exactly where they're going to be.
And the secret story has always been the Peanut's a really good Zac player. Actually predicts there with the stretching strike and gets the kill. Getting the CC, and BDD had enough for his last force usage there. Gets the kill with the Q. Able to exit lane. Nice bait coming through from BDD. Top lane is still a disaster because it's Jace versus Gnar. And Peanut's on the invade, because why not?
Yeah. He's actually been on this topside jungle of Jin Air quite a few times, but Umti this time around is going to be hanging out. Level 6 has been gained by both of these junglers as Let's Bounce, remember, interacts really nicely with the Impale as he gets pulled back. That's the blue buff going over to the Jace as the Kidnap comes in, but Khan's already disappeared. Okay, Impale will finish him off because he used it a little bit early. Didn't even have the passive available just yet, and Peanut going to throw away his life just a little bit. Kill lead actually getting approached on here by Jin Air.
A one-way mission coming in from Jin Air there, from the Kingzone there on the invade, taken down. Bot lane's been non-interactive, but Ashtrin just fine as BD's really good at these skills, it turns out.
He is really good. Demonic Ascension, he should be able to throw it out, but it's the shifting sands. Oh, Sith Lightning. He's probably still going to die, but he says worth because it doesn't even go to his lane opponent.
Why is he turret diving? It doesn't make any sense. But he knew that Jace was coming in to pick up the farm, pushes it in. All right, Kingzone.
Yeah.
We having fun yet?
I think they are. I think we all are, to be honest, because BDD's Swain has looked damn good. 3-1-0. It means a lot of gold, actually, onto Grace if they get the shutdown. But he's going to have a lot. We'll see whether it's Rod of Ages.
He's baiting. He actually stepped onto the trap.
The arrow's going to fly forward. There's the ultimate for follow-up. Peanut turns up in the nick of time, gets the flash, gets the head bonk, and the stuns are there to follow up. Wraith says, no, you're just out of here, buddy. I just don't want any part of this lane anymore. Elastic Slingshot should be there for Peanut, though, as Wraith will be able to go into darkness. And Peanut not going to find it. He just is content on saying that he's a counter-jungling Zac this time.
Prey actually stepped on the trap to bait them to walk forward as the Zac came over the wall. That is some next-level play from Prey. He deserves the credit. He's had so many next levels. That was definitely not a mistake by him. Able to pick up the kill. They don't get the second one. Nice flash away from Wraith. Now bot lane snowballed as well.
Yep. Well, it's only the jungle that isn't snowballed. So we mentioned, game number 1, it was Peanut. All of the balls were in his court. He was able to do what he wanted. He was empowered. This time around, he's facilitating the entire rest of his team to carry individually if they want to.
I'm sure Ambition's watching this game and being like, look at your farm though, Peanut. What's going on there? Because Peanut's decided not to farm. He's only farming champions. He's given up 2 deaths, but very much been about the ganks this game.
Yeah.
Has plenty of jungle to return to.
I think he's got a really good friend in the Death Chamber that he wants to go back and visit. There's Grace. He's here just trying to get aggressive, but the passive is now going to be available yet again. He is on the top side of the map, so unable to really find out where Peanut is. Good vision available for Jin Air on the top side. Understanding where Kingzone want to be playing around.
Even with 3 kills, Speedy doesn't have any items to speak of. He went for the Merc Treads to interrupt any sort of first item. Wait and see. It's going to be the Abyssal Mask. You would expect it would be.
Yeah, a lot of respect actually given for the potential positioning of the Skarner. Peanut grabs another red buff. Just wants to try and increase the CS margin by just a little.
Plenty of little camps to pick up. For example, getting all the little golems on this particular push.
Yeah.
Khan's all about lane control. Wants 100 CS. Won't be the first person on the map to get it, but certainly the first in the top lane.
Yeah. Grabs it for himself, and he has a huge CS advantage. Something that we understand, the Gnar Jace matchup is hard for most people, but then it's Khan's Jace, so it's a very different thing. As there's the Abyssal Voyage. Prey runs super fast. is still going to use the flash. The Impale actually comes down onto Gorilla, who wants to save himself, and actually does so as teleports are coming down bot side. BDD wants to get in here, still has the flash if he wants more Demonic Ascension damage, and he's going to pick up his 4th of the game on the Swain.
Really nice teleports in. They continue to bait him. Both flashes were up from Kingzone, both used eventually. They waited, they reassessed, the communication was there. They get the kills. Jace is coming bot lane as well. He completed his teleport, so they want first brick in the bottom lane.
Yeah, they should be able to grab it here too. A fair bit of damage actually coming in, and they've got so much poke. Khan, not a lot of mana left, but in goes Peanut. Doesn't actually find any of his buttons though, as the Emperor's Divide comes down. The kidnap's there onto Umti, but he's tanky enough to survive this one. Unbreakable, perfect timing there from Gorilla, and so on. Should be actually able to get something on the top side. BDD wants to pay a visit. He's not going to be able to clear out that control wall because he needs to book it if he wants to save this turret.
He's going to have to walk up, like you mentioned, very, very quickly. It should be enough to keep up the turret, though. Kingzone realized they were going to be unable to push down bot lane after the dive from the Zac led to nothing, and Zac had no reason to return. So a bit of wave clear, a nice long walk for Khan. Still unsure what he's going to buy. He's got plenty of options with 4 kills already.
Maybe he can't decide. That's why he hasn't been back to the shop yet.
Well, he can afford both, so we'll see what he wants.
He's standing on top of ward, so it doesn't matter that he's slightly outside of the brush. Kingzone move back down towards the bottom side. It's going to be Essence Reaver Ashe coming in first. There's always a few different schools of thought there.
And it's going to be ignore damage from the Swain, who's happy with his 4 kills and now just wants to be a tank. Prey famously has always been an Essence Reaver Ashe player. He has always gone Essence Reaver Hurricane, so he can flash in with his Q and the Hurricane bolts, proccing the Q there on the AoE, and also the maximum cooldown reduction build, because guess what? He hits the Ashe Arrow every time, so happy days. More Ashe Arrows for Prey.
It was also always his way to be the one that had to engage all the time, if you remember. You guys at home, Papa definitely remembers, because he's talked about that so many times, but being able to engage more, that sounds great as well for Kingzone, even if he's not the one that has to do it every time.
Turn onto the Drake here. Kingzone have control over that objective. We'll see if the commit comes in. Does Jin Air feel feisty? They're not way behind in this game. There is a potential fight Jin Air wins, especially if the Emperor's Divide can split. Here's the ult.
Arrow, yep, it's going to land on a Grace. Immediate cleanse comes in as Peanut can't quite get enough distance. Wants to steal away a Raptor, isn't able to. Getting a cleanse out is good.
Khan keeps roaming down for these plays and will once again lose turret health. Not enough information for the Gnar. Will not finish off the turret either. We back away. Items still coming together. No massive lead yet for Kingzone, even though they have 6 kills on the board.
Yep, and Power Shock Blast comes in as Khan starting to lose that advantage that he had. Only 20 CS now the lead.
This build he's been going for against the tankier opponents has been the sort of build. His bot lane, we're trying again.
Yep, another Abyssal Voyage, but there's the Bouncy Castle. Peanuts here as well as Prey. So safe in the front line. Gets the concussive blows as Wraith has the grey health, but the Skarner is just straight up dead. Good flash from Wraith is going to save his life, but the damage has been done. And Peanut, he wants more. Wraith, they're going to connect it. He's going to get bonked back as well. They wanted to get a kill to Prey, as there's the flash. 3-man Emperor's Divide comes in from Grace, who's going to get stunned, but way too late. And Prey still trying to kite for the ultimate. Right in his face is going to get Teddy a double. BDD wants to come down. Does actually land the Never Move as the Demonic Ascension is in here.
He's diving.
He wants to grab the kill. He's diving all the time as the Force Lightning's going to pick up the double. Flashes away as well as now Grace finds himself between an old man with a cane and a big blobby man and feels really hard done by it.
Why does BDD's Swain do more damage than anyone else's?
With an Abyssal Mask! Oh, I don't know, Papa, is the answer.
Ridiculous game. Once again, that one looked like it was going to be a turnaround from the side of Jin Air with the really good flash into the Emperor's Divide. But BDD just accidentally killed the Tahm Kench as he was trying to kill the AD carry. And able to continue on from this. Watch the replay. We know Swain's pretty powerful on this patch, but Prey walks up, wants to get the last hit on Wraith, but then realizes, crap, it's going to be the Azir engage. He had the flash available. They get 1 kill, they get the 2nd kill onto Prey. Of course, it's in the front line on the Ashe, and then BD comes in, and this is the 2nd time he's gone for a pure 1vx turret dive. This was a 1v3, as he decided that he was going to get kills, accidentally kills Wraith as he was going for Teddy.
And Grace is like, oh no, he's got a flash, and then he forgot to kill Peanut as well, which was a bigger problem. Because now Peanut doesn't even need to worry, there were still minions available as he hops out, and BDD's absolutely fine. It's pretty beautiful. Kingzone pretty good at diving turrets, but that was all just BDD. Doing it by himself.
Well, they're trying again. Third time's a charm.
Yep. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Prey does have a flash if he wants to get himself over the wall, and he does so. Should be okay.
Remember the previous time they had the Zac for the counter gank in the lane. That's why that old previous passage of play happened, is because they went for this exact Abyssal Voyage play, and Zac was waiting there being like, hey, mate, how you doing? And they killed the Tom Kench from there. BD's back in mid lane. He still feels like he has no items because he only has 120 CS, and it's only 16 minutes in the game.
But remember, he's another version of Sion and Galio, so he's just feeling so good.
It's going to be the now standard build from Khan and into these tanks. Black Cleaver into... Sorry, the Blade the Ruin King into the Black Cleaver seems to be his build. Try to shred tanks in the side lane.
Has been known to Lord Dominic's regard after that as well for the ultra armor penetration. And the Unbreakable pretty good at stopping Ace in the hole, so no worries there.
BD gets any more kills, and I think he may be our new MVP leader, Atlas.
Look, I feel like at this point in time, if the game was going to explode, or if Jin Air were going to surrender, or something like that, then I feel like he'd still be there as it lands another never move.
He even lands the W.
Yeah.
Cheeky.
I'm actually really upset, because I don't think I've ever landed a W before.
Well,
oh dear.
Looking on to Khan, but his splash is back up because the action has been all bottom side. Speaking of bottom side, they shepherd Teddy away from the turret.
And
Tom Kench is looking for Skarner so that he can look for another lane gank.
Yep, and in the meantime, they save Khan as well, as the tower is going to get teleported to, allows Khan to tank up the minion wave, and they're unable to answer that first turret that goes down on the bottom side. The lead is starting to increase as Peanut jumps on top of Grace, but doesn't find the Stretch Armstrong. Umpty. Feels like there's nowhere on the map that a Kingzone member isn't.
They're just having a nice time. The comms are always so positive whenever you see the comms from Rocks Tigers into Longtree Gaming in summer season, and now Kingzone in 2018.
Yep. It's one of those teams that even in losing games, doesn't seem like the comms really suffer too much, and I think that that is the biggest testament, because you can all have fun when you're winning. It's hard to have fun when you're losing.
I know for a fact a lot of players joined Kingzone and previously Longzhu Gaming for the opportunity to play with Prey and Gorilla, because if there's ever a duo you want to listen to learn something about the game, as Khan, a player who had a little bit of experience in the LCK but had largely been out of the scene for a couple of years, BDD had many offers around Korea. They knew about the potential of this player being a solo queue monster, but he was happy to come onto first Kingzone, his first Longzhu, as a substitute player, just to play with people like Prey and Gorilla. And now they're in full flight. Now they've got the Mighty Ducks thing going on, but that time the teleport's going to be cancelled from Gorilla.
Yeah, Gorilla not going to head in on that one. Khan was too good at the acceleration gate, so he moves pretty damn fast. As Umpty, he's going to turn up, finds the Tri-Brush, but misses the Fracture and just gets bonked back. Not going to quite get in range of the Impale.
You don't have the same snapback that you used to on the Impale when it comes to flashing away, and also things like Little Bonk, and that turret that they've been working on multiple times when the roams come through is finally taken down from Khan.
Yep, Prey was on the bottom side of the map, just clearing out minions, so Teddy, he's going to be busy for a little while. We'll see whether this means that Kingzone have an opportunity to grab something, and it looks like the Cloud Drake will be that option. They've got so many wards all over the bottom side as well, so they were prepared to take this one down. We've got Earth, Wind, and Fire again?
Yeah!
This is the dream! I love that band! Oh, my favorite series so far, I think.
Been a fun one. No complaints when you get to watch Kingzone. A lot of people tuning into a match that really has no relevance on any race other than the MVP race. And we might be seeing BDD be the first player this season to hit 1,000, which would represent 10 regular season MVPs, 100 points for a victory in the regular season. There is also a postseason MVP, but the points are sliding based on how important the match is, and it's a little less coveted than the regular season award we always quote.
Yep. I'm going to be looking towards KT versus Afrika for seeing whether Tucson and Kuro can make their way up towards that top spot as well.
Or overtake. Always outside
precisely.
chance. There's 2 victories left for Afrika if they do win their final series.
So exciting stuff. I'd like to see Tucson actually make his way up. A double MVP would be pretty cool. Seeing our first support MVP winner. But Kuro just wants to do it again. Wants all the glory for himself.
Gold lead in this game is not massive. Sort of game where Jin Air can definitely turn around. The side lane, someone's done an admirable job. Partially because Khan has been doing so much roaming, but still, no big effort from the Jace yet. But turret dive here, as indicated by our observer. Turret below 1,000 health.
Yep, Umpty is hanging around here as well, but there is vision available everywhere. Abyssal Voyage will be able to get him in, unbeknownst, theoretically, to King Zone.
Problem they have is that Swain is so far ahead that he runs at the enemy backline, Azir and Caitlyn, and then zones them for an entire fight. Frontline's not tanky enough to get through, so they need a big play where they use Skarner Ultimate and Emperor's Divide to just really uncouple the threats from King Zone.
Well, right now, they're just walking around as a group. Peanut here, the ability to get the engage off, and does so here onto Grace.
Not interested in doing any damage to Grace, trying to zone to finally take the turret down.
Yep, they get it. Out of turret. Only remaining in the mid lane, as Teddy's going to move over and make sure that that one's not going to be snowballed into by any other take. Khan on the bottom side of the map with teleport available. Going to be able to keep shoving this one in as well. 2 items for both 80 carries. Teddy, of course, keeping up. Not going to have a CS lead at 22 minutes into the game, which is very surprising.
He finds a way to grow one at some point, though. I think he'll still go down fighting in this game, as Teddy is, like we mentioned, our best farmer in the LCK. Yep. Peanut leaps in. Teddy's there to answer him.
He's able to get the big raptor, so that's the money. Feels okay. His Elastic Slingshot should have an opportunity to use it here. Not going to have Numpty do anything about it. Just a bit of poke underneath this turret as they don't commit to anything. Don't want to go too aggressive or anything like that.
Jace can go in the bot lane to start spreading Jin Air a little bit thinner, as King Zone were piling up in the mid lane, and that was easy for Jin Air to react to.
Yeah, not a lot of vision options here available for Jin Air though, so as soon as the map goes dark, King Zone, they could be anywhere. As in goes Peanut once again. This is just going to guarantee his Gorilla. He goes down. We've got an arrow, another one landing, but it's just to try and get the turret. They do so very easily and completely open the outer turrets.
Peanut was able to bait out the Impale again, an interaction we see very often in the LCK. If you time it at the right time, Impale goes on cooldown. Peanut gets out with his life. It was all about zoning for the turret to be taken down, and that was successful. On the side of King Zone, Jace close to 2 items. That's when he gets really unsalvageable in the side lane, even with a very tanky build opted in by So1.
He's going to be pretty close to be able to pick up that Black Cleaver as well as he goes back home now. We'll see where he is actually going to be able to get to. There it is, Black Cleaver done. Has Control Ward there as well as he heads back down towards the bottom side of the map. It's the next item that's going to be the interesting one. Seeing whether he's going to hard commit onto killing So1 if he can. And something like Lord Dominic's could be coming in next.
Could be some health stacking onto the Skarner and the Gnar, so definitely going to be a potential to be picked up. I understand most purchasers could even go for a Bloodthirster for a lot of lifesteal.
Steric's Gauge if he wants to try and brawl for a little bit longer, things like that.
But it only works on the melee form.
Oh, that's true, yeah. Well, melee form, he can do it with half, and Khan goes into melee form more often than other people.
True.
I always think of Jace as a melee. It's a little bit confusing.
They've normalized a lot of that, so Kale's a ranged champion most of the time now, not melee. Only Gangplank gets to cheat around with melee auto attacks.
Yep. Okay, nice little dodge there from Umpty. Has the crystalline exoskeleton helping with that one, of course.
King Zone with the Jace are playing the map control game. What they've always been doing, to go 15-1 on Jace, is not really so much about outrageous mechanics, which we know Khan has, but also how to close the game with map pressure, with minion waves pushing up, rather than necessarily an easy-to-engage comp.
As Peanut kidnaps himself out, and the Never Move lands once again, but Grace shiftingly sands his way out.
Yeah, very, very respectful of this control ward as King Zone setting up for the Baron slowly.
Another one is going to hit. Hits the full combo, actually, as he gets a defensive ult out from the Azir. Precisely what King Zone want, because any pressure that they can gather means more of an opportunity to head towards this Baron that they have sole vision of. Arrow's going to fly forward, finds Umpty. Because he just seems to be able to hit every single one of them. Yeah, they're going to be able to pick this one up. It's the jungler, remember. Another opportunity to try and go towards the Baron, but Gorilla is going to be lost. Oh, the Grey Health eaten up at exactly the right time by Wraith as the Demonic Ascension unable to get enough here by B2D. The Soul Fragments, he had so many of them, but unable to erupt and actually get any damage across onto Jin Air. So really nicely traded, and Wraith, an absolute hero.
Maximum value from the Tahm Kench, disengaging the smite and also not going down himself. King Zone desperately wanted that. There was already enough Soul Fragments onto BDD that he got the passive off just from any CC layering onto the Skarner, but they weren't able to kill him. They're still here.
Yep, they are going to find Wraith this time. He doesn't have any summoner spells left. Not a lot of options, and Prey He's going to grab that kill. Teleport coming in towards the
Arrow
top side.
almost up. It's up now.
Yep, and it's going to land on Umpty once again. It's magnetic when it happens to be in the hands of Prey. They grab themselves a jungler. Takes it a couple of times, but they are going to be able to grab it, and it looks like the Baron should be the next one on the list.
Plenty of damage around. So BD's going to recall, top up, and then look for a teleport play. Not recalling in vision. Isn't spotted out in this, so just going to teleport onto the Baron.
Yep, Fraser got a fair bit of damage, but at least there's vision available for Jin Air, and a few of them are going to turn up. BDD, remember, doesn't have the ultimate available for another few seconds, as they are looking to just secure the Baron. They do get it, but now what are they going to lose? Zhonya's comes in from BDD, going to keep himself alive, and they grab a kill, which means BDD gets more health. Grace, oh, he botches it just a little bit. Not a lot of opportunities because he got bonked back by Khan. The answer to the Empress Divide play, just can't do it.
Get the Baron, they push through mid lane, they pick up the exit kills as well. Like you say, no Demonic Ascension or Demon Flare available for BDD, no problem, as the Zhonya's is so obscenely tanky in this particular game. They get the mid lane turret, it goes down, and Jin Air lose the Baron. Weren't able to make this game, as even as the gold lead was able to suggest, because Kingzone made the right decisions around the Baron and continued to stay after the amazing disengage from the Tahm Kench the second time around. He didn't have the summoners to say a lot.
Yeah, just incredible stuff. And Kingzone once again have done it, moving themselves out to about a 9,000 gold lead. Feels inevitable, but it felt like this one was a lot closer in the early stages of the game. Just the Kingzone's ability to engage and follow up, it's just a little bit too good.
Hasn't been a showpiece game for Khan, but we know what he's all about. He's all about map pressure. Also had a great disengage and escape earlier in the game, and that was probably going to be the only big Khan highlight. I've said that before, and he got a pentakill, so who knows? But probably going to be just a role player Jace game. He's gone for the Youmu's, the third item, just to be a bit more annoying in the side lane push.
Yep, give him a bit more movement speed to try and get back to this top lane by the looks of things. It's a 1-3-1 being enacted here. Kingzone spreading the Baron as far as they possibly can.
BDD's CS is actually obscenely bad in this game.
Yeah.
He has 227 at 28 minutes because he spent so much time turret diving and roaming to make up for the fact that Khan was leaving his turret many times.
Yeah, going to be pretty annoyed about the fact that he doesn't get an S rank for this one. Most likely.
I wonder if there is rankings on the tournament client.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'd have to ask a pro player about that one.
Yeah. We could probably do that after the match. Kingzone continue to push this one out. Gorilla, he'll scout ahead. Not a lot of engage opportunities. Onto the Ashe Braum, because they're getting spread a little bit too thin. Grace trying to answer. The Swain on the bottom side. As the traps are doing their best to stave off the Kingzone push. Inner turrets going down, top and bottom lane. Peanut actually looking for a dive here. Wants to land onto Grace, and he will be able to connect it. Brings him back to the turret, as the Never Move is there once again, but it's all just to make sure that this turret is free to take, as the Nara is going to miss. That means that Khan has a lot of opportunities to get rid of Soma.
Very optimistic that he could hit the Nara onto someone who has Boots 2 and also the Rage passive. Push into mid lane upon seeing that.
Yep. Boots 2, Rage passive, and a Blade of the Ruin King, as Kingzone are continuing to push on the bottom side. As doesn't get the Never Move this time around, does BDD.
What you do when you have the Jace, you have one lane you know will be winning the pressure war with Baron. Even Nara as a ranged auto attacker can't take Jace at very much any point of the 1v1 as Ashe Arrow.
But thankfully Wraith exists. He's exactly the target that they actually want to be looking for, but Peanut steps up. He's going to be able to move Wraith back in as Gorilla comes down, does land the concussive blows as he's going to get stunned. The ultimate is invested as now Demonic Ascension is there. Block of the Iron Slayer to try and keep them alive as now Grace, he wants nothing to do with this. The kidnap comes forward and this is going to be the base broken. The inhibitor taken, and is it actually just going to be game here?
You only have 4 minions, they're going to try for it, Kingzone.
Yep, double Mountain Drake is in here, so these are going to go down pretty quickly. Peanut not going to find the stretch Armstrong as there's the knockback onto BDD, but did that even register the damage? He doesn't take anything at all. Peanut is going to lock down the kill on the Birdman in the mid. And BDD going to tank a little bit too much, has his Zhonya's, and Teddy's going to die. That's going to be the ace completed by Kingzone DragonX. Jin Air going to fall 0-2, but man, if this was an exhibition match, it looked damn good from Kingzone. And if I'm KSV, I am shaking in my boots because that's a must-win. And it's a must-win that's going to be extraordinarily difficult against this team.
KingZone DragonX, when everything's on the line, it looks like an exhibition. When nothing's on the line, it looks like an exhibition. How about some KDA before they end the game? 20-7, KingZone DragonX move on to 15-2 on the season. They still have not lost a best of 3 when Khan has been playing. Too easy on the day, and like you say, after their loss in the first series, honestly the only way that KSV makes it to the playoffs is they beat KingZone. And if you beat KingZone in the form they're in, you should be in the playoffs, because suddenly we'd have another contender for that grand final.
Yeah, things also looking a little bit better for the Rocks Tigers as well, because their last match is going to be against GreenWings, who would feel a little bit demoralized up against KingZone today. Early game in Game 2 did look okay, but in the end they got styled on. Of course, it's not really much that you can say, because KingZone style on basically everyone. We saw what they did to KT in their first matchup earlier on in the season. That was not close at all. And at that point in time, they were certainly their closest rival. Now Afrika also not able to pick up too many good moments against KingZone DragonX. They're just so damn good.
I think the teams that are going to play them are just going to try and look at Drast and say, how do we ban out the most power from KingZone? Because Sion and Galio was the ban here. He found Swain, it was basically the same thing. Zone control, great roam timings, the turret dives, if you don't mind, multiple times on the Swain. I don't know if that's the way. Is it Peanut that you try and focus when it comes to the high meta junglers? We know he plays in Italy and other things, but you have to wonder, because you only get 3 in the first round and 2 in the second, and you know that someone is going to be wielding power. Teams recently haven't felt like they're going to be able to ban away the Jace. We see a return of it, and was it the reason they won? No, but it was another symptom. If you're coming down with the symptoms that KingZone places on teams like Jin Air, you're going to be out for a while. They're down for the count, 2-0 loss for Jin Air. As we mentioned, this was nothing on the line. They cannot be relegated. They cannot make it to promotions. But all they get confirmation of on the day is they have a lot of work to do as a squad to even reach close to the level that KingZone is on.
Yeah, learning that you're just not on the same level as KingZone DragonX is something that a lot of teams have actually learned. In fact, all of the teams in the LCK have learned that one. As, yeah, there was a lot of damage by Teddy. He often does a lot of damage, but KingZone still able to take the victory. The tower diving Swain, you mentioned the fact that he doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Did do a fair bit in this game, but he just looked unkillable.
I wonder who the MVP goes to. I feel like both the Swain and the Ashe have very good cases here, so...
But when Prey plays Ashe, his arrow is targeted, isn't it?
It seems so.
Yeah. So
I don't think he missed one this game, actually.
No, I don't remember one missing at all.
Well, that is what happens when you have the legendary Ashe player in Prey. This one was quicker to finish because they had Baron damage. They had so many different options. They had the Jace in the side lane, forcing the Gnar to have the worst time of his life. All we need to know is if BDD will be solo in the MVP lead or if Prey will continue his late season surge, picking up a couple of MVPs.
Yep. Kuro wanting to catch back up to BDD, and we could have history repeat itself with BDD and Kuro once again joint MVPs. If by the end of the season, Freaka Freaks are able to pick up at least a victory, and it's going to be BDD, makes it to 1,000 points. The Swain was just disgusting.
So much damage, you know, the numbers don't necessarily bear it because Swain needs to be really committing to a fight to do true damage, but the turret dives this game were dirty, Atlas. They were really dirty.
Yeah.
He kept killing people on the turret. It's like he was playing solo queue with all the dives, but he made it work. Doesn't die very often, does young BDD. Watching the replays here, the right position multiple times.
This is an interesting one as well, as Soan also needs some props for the way he escaped this. Oh my goodness.
I like how this is a BDD replay, by the way.
Yeah.
This is great kiting by Soan, and also the most no damage because, of course, it was good old Zach. Really nice kiting by Soan. That would be part of his MVP reel. This is also part of the BDD replay.
Meanwhile, Khan, he's going to make his way out as well, and BDD looking to try and pick up a 1v2. So it looks like
you stay in long enough, you do a lot of damage. He understood his damage really well there, and that's something I've seen Swain players struggle with. They know about the wave clear. Some of them can hit the E reliably. He was hitting the W reliably, and then from there, understanding the damage so well. This is one of many turret dives.
Yep, just finding the cues.
He died on this one.
He did, but we're not going to show that. Cut the video.
When he roamed down bot lane, and he knew he was going to be the center of the party, and that is what Swain is all about. Party animal Swain where? We have to ask. He should have a Prolaph S skin. I would love to see that one. Riot, please, on the Brolaf-esque.
I like the
Animal Swain.
afterthought Sith Lightning as well. Here's his turret dive that you were talking about.
He really wanted to kill Caitlyn. He had to kill Tahm Kench. So
Yeah.
that was unfortunate.
As the Sith Lightning is on such a low cooldown. It's like exactly the time where Mace Windu... Oh, sorry, I'm not gonna spoil anything. There's the knock-up, and...
It's happened again and again. He's zoning. Yeah. That's all he has to do. Ashe has a great time. There's no threat onto her because no one can peel away the Swain, such as Swain.
Yeah, big demon circle just seemed to be enveloping everyone that time around. And now we are going to have, once again, a King's Own MVP interview, so we're going to throw it over to Joel for some translation.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Joel during last interview translation for the night. We absolutely saw King's Own DragonX smurfing in LCK as they put on the style onto their opponents like it was no other, and just another victory for these guys. I'm going to have an interview with BDD and also the coach as well. 1,000 points for your MVP. Right now, you're the current top leader in the MVP points. How do you feel? I mean, we knew that we clinched the finals, and I think kind of the pressure was all off, so it made it a little bit easier to play our usual game of today. Coach, how do you feel about the game? You know, we weren't really preparing for this one game, but we were preparing for the finals in the bigger picture of things, and I really didn't want to kind of expose anything for the grand finals ahead, but felt great about the game today. And of course, you guys were on a good run, and talking about, you know, clinching the final spot already. You know that the pressure went down. It could have been a sign of complacency that led to the games, but it really didn't seem to be the case. I mean, it really doesn't matter to us whether we clinch the finals or whether just we're doing an exhibition match. We're gonna just prepare just as we always do and try to get the best game out of us as much as we can. And with BDD, you seemed a little more excited in your general play and how you played today. How do you feel about, you know, already clinching everything and playing with all that happy state in mind? And since we're in a safe position, it gives me a little less pressure, so that feels good already. And you were really just dancing around a little bit. You know, I was kind of reminding myself back in school when I did a little bit of dancing, so I tried to replicate that today. You know, my teammates always tell me to do the dance and they don't do the dance themselves, so all the responsibility on me. And really, you picked up a good MVP. We saw the dive down in bot lane was kind of the important point here. Sure, this was this situation here. We felt like this was literally the extent of what juggling can be exemplified as, and you know, we always kind of tell each other that we're whoever's going to be taking the turret, so we always kept that communication going. And that's the kind of the most important part when we're making plays like this. It really was about just kind of extending the limits and testing your limits as much as you can. And what do you know, coach, you know, when you look at these plays, what do you feel about that? You know, of course, we do feel a lot of pressure, but I always tell my players to be expressive in what you want to do and what kind of plays you want to make, and I think our players are really expressive in that department, and just allows us to be a little more free in the way we can make creative plays like that. Of course, with Game 1 and Game 2, kind of the fights that led to very much the victories within the games. And I'm sure kind of the patch had something to do with that as well, letting you be a little more aggressive compared to the older patches. And I'm sure you guys are in preparation for the finals regarding that. And we're still always thinking in our mind about the finals, because that's kind of the biggest picture that we're trying to kind of formulate to ourselves. Let's talk about mid-Swain just a little bit. And is this something that you have been hiding for a while? I mean, I've just been hearing around that Swain is a very good pick right now in the top to mid lane, and it just allows me to kind of try that out a little bit for myself.
그걸 하나 여쭤보고 싶었어요. 진짜 난전이었잖아요.
And it really was a lot of fights going on. It was really chaotic.
누군가가 그래도 큰 그림을
And even within the chaos that's going on, is there someone that's really kind of building and portraying the bigger picture of how the fight is supposed to end, for example?
하는 건가요?
일단 라인에서 다 같이 원하는 걸
And whenever we're laning, we kind of tell each other that what we want. So whenever we're gonna gank or kind of roam towards in our lane, we let them kind of decide what they want to do, and we just kind of try to support them as much as they can.
어떤 장면이 나올지 모르겠습니다만은 아마 바텀 그
We get to see a lot on the highlight here, and this is near the bot lane where another gank did happen. And I'm sure you guys might have felt a little more pressure with the Azir here. I knew that there was going to be a lot of support coming forth, but I tried to just go down a little bit late, and even going in late, I had so much power at this point.
막 파고 들어가 타워 맞으면서
You were just taking turret shots back and forth and still getting it.
그러니까 안 죽는다고 생각하고
I mean,
하거든요.
yeah, I feel like, you know, when I make those plays, I know I'm not going to die, so it just allows me to play like that. Just calculating is quite easy when you're that strong.
자크도 한 번 더 들어와서 그거 젤리 상태에서 다
And Zach also comes in for the last kill there.
그래서 또 여쭤보고 싶은
And one thing I want to ask you is that as players,
킹존의 뱀픽은 약간 다른
people do feel that, you know, the Kingzone DragonX picks and bans are a little bit different and a little more diverse compared to the other LCK teams. Do you have your own unique characteristic, especially with all the other players when you're talking about the entire competition?
맞아요. 네, 저희도 다 같이 뱀핑 얘기하면서
We always try to kind of discuss the different picks and bans and try to be a little more creative with it.
평가에 대해서는 어떻게 생각하시나요?
And how do you feel about that right now as coach?
예를 들어서 작년에 나왔던 탑카시 미드제드 같은 경우에
I mean, you're talking about top Cassiopeia, mid Zed, those things are just kind of unimaginable with other teams.
이런 생각을 안 하고
We just try to formulate these things
연습
thinking that we're not going to lose with these picks, and the confidence that gets is not about, you know, trying to just have fun, but these guys are really just formulating every little details that make these composition work.
당연히 실패가 됐을 때는 피드백이 있을 수밖에 없죠.
Of course, you guys, whenever those picks don't work out, you guys do have the feedbacks going around, but I feel like, you know, today's games looking very much like solo queue games, but going very good results overall. But also, what I want to say as,
킹존의 약점은 뭔가?
what is the kind of the weakness of Kings on DragonX? What do you think, coach?
귀여운
I mean, BDD being so cute, that's a huge weakness for us all.
귀여운 선수들이 너무 많아.
We have so many cute players in our team. That's a horrible thing for our team. We just can't get off of that.
약점은 뭔것 같다. 그나마.
Praise
저희
infected them.
약점은 너무 넘치는 에너지.
Our weakness is our overflowing energy that we cannot control for ourselves.
다 같이 있는 것 같아요.
And I think that's something that we want to maintain a little more control of, I'm sure.
될수 있다라고 좀 본인을 평가해 주셨는데 어쨌든 오늘 정말 멋진 경기.
Of course, regardless of all those things, you guys do have a very, very good victory, kind of leading up to the 8 consecutive victories that you guys have been seeing. And you know, you guys do have the second round robin, just one game left remaining. Do you have kind of the ambition that you want to extend that over to more win consecutive,
MVP는
especially with the MVP points as well?
받으면 받고 안 받으면 안 받으면
You know, if I get the award, I'll get it. But if I don't, I don't.
네.
But against KSV, I'm just gonna be trying my best. That's all.
그러면서 2라운드 전승으로 결승.
And you know, I want to just win with the most games, win as possible.
이제 코치님 입장에서는 2연속.
Of course, you do have for you, coach. It's gonna be a second consecutive finals appearance.
당연히 자부심을 가져야 된다고 생각을
You know,
하고
it's really a confidence issue that we were trying to fight against, and you know, we always think that we can always play better, and that's something that we're always reaching towards.
이제 한 경기 남았거든요.
We have one more game left remaining.
그런 얘기하기도
You talked about a revenge coming up.
하고.
But anything you'd like to say regarding that game coming up?
결승 준비도 준비인데
You know, we're trying to focus on the finals, obviously, but the next game is ever more important as all. And we're trying to just improve our performance and hopefully give you guys a good showing at our game next time. Coach, anything like to add on?
이제 다음 결승도 작년과 마찬가지로
You know, we want to
좀
just try to make
열심히 준비해서
just another final that we can just kind of extend over to what we did in last season and try to show you guys a good performance overall. So with Kingzone, trying to think of what weakness they have, all they can thought of is their cuteness of the team, and I think that's going to be the conclusion of it all. I'm going to throw it back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Joel. Yeah, when the weakness is, oh, but we're all just too handsome. That's not really much of a weakness.
You know, I'm right there with them. Not sure what the weaknesses are for Kingzone and DragonX. They're so damn good. They could still come down, though. Afrika's pretty damn good too, Atlas. And if a team gets past KT and Afrika, they should be right up there against Kingzone. So Kingzone having the break could hurt them, because if they were playing the grand final tomorrow, they'd be winning at Atlas. So that's the thing about Kingzone. They're through to the finals. All they're now about is whether they can reach 27 game score. They're doing the reverse Kongdu Monster thing on the top of the table.
A little bit of an unfortunate setting, but there are still 6 teams with chances of making it up there. Kingzone, of course, Afrika Freaks and KT Rolster all locked in, but KSV Rocks and SKT still trying to figure it out. It's all but over for KSV. They're feeling like it's going to be a danger going up against Kingzone DragonX.
But this season, baby, this season keeps going. There's important games here. BBQ Olivers, if they win, are going to be ahead of MVP when it comes to their final spots, the final match for BBQ Olivers. Then we have SKT versus MVP. If SKT 2-0-2-0, very likely they make it to playoffs. MVP needs a match win, otherwise they will be in relegations. So it's all about playoff implications at the top and the bottom in match number 86.
Yeah, and MVP need to try and steal a win as well. We've seen them steal wins in the past. They've been able to get the odd game here and there off almost any opposition, I guess, as we've moved into the later stages, but it's going to be really rough, and this is going to be a hungry SKT.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's going to be ridiculous. But guys, thank you so much for watching. We're going to see you back again tomorrow for some more LCK action.